Once upon a time, in a small village nestled in the mountains, there lived a man named Leo. Leo was a kind-hearted man, but his mind was constantly troubled. He overthought every decision, worried about the future, and replayed past mistakes endlessly. He spent his days lost in thought, unable to enjoy the present moment. His friends and family noticed how restless he had become, and they became concerned. So they told Leo to seek out the wisdom of an old sage who lived at the edge of the village. One early morning, Leo set out on a walk up the mountains, determined to find the sage. When he arrived, the sage, an elderly man with a calm demeanor and wise eyes, welcomed him with a gentle smile. Without hesitation, Leo poured out his heart. "Sage, I'm here today to seek your wisdom. You see, my mind is constantly at war. I overthink every little thing. I worry about my future. I dwell on my past, and no matter what I do, I cannot find peace. How can I stop this endless stream of thoughts and start living with a calmer mind?" The sage listened patiently, then gestured for Leo to sit beside him. They sat in silence for a moment, watching the trees sway in the gentle breeze. Then the sage spoke. "Leo," the sage began, "your mind is troubled because it's trying to control everything, even the things beyond your reach. You see those leaves on the trees?" He pointed to a branch above them where the leaves danced in the wind. "Can you control how they move?" Leo shook his head. "No, I can't." "Exactly. Just as you cannot control the wind, you cannot control many things in life. Some events, other people's opinions, the past, these are like the wind. You cannot stop them, but what you can control is how you respond. If you spend your energy trying to control the uncontrollables, you will only find frustration." The sage's words sank in, and Leo nodded. "But how do I stop myself from worrying about these things?" The sage replied, "Ask yourself, is this within my control? If it is, take action. If it's not, let it go." The sage rose from his seat and walked over to a nearby stream, motioning for Leo to follow. As they stood by the water, the sage said, "Tell me, Leo, what is this stream doing?" "It's flowing," Leo replied, watching the water rush past the rocks and fallen branches. "Yes, it flows in the moment. It does not concern itself with the rain that filled it yesterday or the storm that might come tomorrow. It flows now." The sage knelt down, cupping his hand into the water. "This is how you must live, Leo, following in the present. Overthinking happens when your mind is trapped in the past or worries about the future, but all you ever truly have is now. When you find your thoughts wandering, ask yourself, what am I doing in this moment? How can I focus on the task at hand? This is the key to peace." Leo looked at the stream and understood. He had spent so much time thinking about what could happen or what had already happened, but he neglected the only moment that truly mattered, the present. As they walked back to the sage's hut, Leo frowned. Then he asked, "But what if something terrible happens in the future? How do I stop worrying about what might happen or what might go wrong?" The sage smiled softly. "There's a way to calm that worry, and it may surprise you. Close your eyes and imagine the worst case scenario you fear." "What is it?" Leo hesitated but did as he was told. I fear losing my livestock, my farm. I fear that I won't be able to provide for my family." "Good," the sage said. "Now imagine that it happens. Picture the entire situation. What would you do?" Leo opened his eyes slowly. "I suppose I'd have to find another way to support them. I would do what I could." "You see," the sage said, "by facing the worst, you take away its power. Often our minds make our fears bigger than they are, but when you confront them, you realize that you are capable of handling more than you think. The worst case scenario is rarely as terrifying as the mind imagines. Leo felt a weight lift from his shoulders. His fears, once looming, now felt smaller and manageable. Back at the hut, the sage poured tea for both of them. As they sipped in silence, Leo asked, "But what if things don't go the way I hope? How can I stop worrying about the results of my actions?" The sage set down his cup. That's where amor fati comes in. It means love of fate. The Stoics taught us that we must embrace whatever happens as part of life's flow, even if it's not what we hoped for. You see, we can control our actions but not the outcomes. When you act with integrity and do your best, you must learn to let go of what follows. Let go? Leo asked, confused. Yes, whatever happens, when you succeed or fail, you must accept it as part of your journey. You cannot force life to go your way. Embrace whatever comes with grace, knowing that every experience has value, whether it brings joy or challenge. As the day drew to a close, the sage handed Leo a simple notebook. One final practice, Leo, is to write. The great Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius wrote down their thoughts every day, not overthinking but to clarify their minds. Leo took the notebook and looked at the sages curiously. Each morning or evening, the sage continued, write down what is troubling you. Ask yourself, is this in my control? Am I living in the present? What is the worst thing that could happen? By putting your thoughts to paper, you can see them more clearly and gain perspective. Over time, this will help you break free from the cycle of overthinking. Leo smiled. He had come to the sage seeking answers, and now he had them. Armed with these principles, he knew that he could face his restless mind and find peace. "Thank you, sage," Leo said, bowing deeply. "I will carry these lessons with me for life." And with that, Leo walked back down the mountain, his heart lighter and his mind quieter, ready to live life with calmness and clarity. Leo's journey, like ours, is a reminder that peace of mind is not found in controlling everything, but in mastering how we respond to life's ever-changing flow.